Hello there, my name is HarmNone, and today we are going to be going over my ultimate jet guide in Grand Theft Auto Online. In this video, I will explain in detail how to fly safely when in combat situations within Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. I have spent a good portion of time inside of aircraft, specifically in jets. I want to preface this video by saying I have extensive knowledge specifically with the Hydra. However, the information that I will be giving out in this video is applicable to every plane in Grand Theft Auto Online to some degree. In this video, we will be focusing on three main principles: altitude, management, and positioning, angle of attack, and risk assessment. Mastering or at least understanding these three things will increase your combat effectiveness significantly. Let's begin with altitude management. For altitude management, it is important to understand the environment that you are fighting in. The environment that you are in can change rapidly throughout the course of a fight. For example, fighting within the city of Los Santos, you will not need to rely on altitude as much as positioning. Positioning is much more important when you are actually in the city. Due to many large indestructible objects, skyscrapers, altitude will not matter as much to escape from danger. You can instead use such objects to avoid being shot down. Quickly ducking behind buildings for cover in this instance is much more effective than gaining huge amounts of altitude. When it comes to combat in more open areas, altitude becomes your main defense against enemies. For example, say you're flying above the beach, actively engaging a ground target. Every time you go in for a strafe, your chance of being shot down increases hugely. This means it is important to gain altitude as quickly as possible after going in for a strafe to try and get out of the danger zone before your enemy respawns, if you kill them that is, or before they whip out a homing launcher or a minigun to shoot you down. The safe height for fighting ground targets really is not that high up. It's at the second altitude bar on the minimap. When you're this high up as well, when you go into dive bomb players or ground targets of any sort, it is also a huge advantage because you have a ton of time to actually see your target before you can line up and actually take your shot. Getting to this height will likely not even take 10 seconds, and once you're there, you're pretty much safe from everything but aircraft. Speaking of aircraft, you will also need to know about elevation in relation to enemy or potentially enemy aircraft. In almost every case, it is better to be above than below. In my experience, when I'm coasting in my jet way up in the air, enemy aircraft always underestimate my altitude, which always gives me the jump should I choose to attack. Players almost always think that you are at an equivalent height to them or slightly above, even if they are very, very close to the ground. So they always underestimate you to be way above them, which will give you a huge advantage. Overall, this entire philosophy can be summed up by the great Travis Scott. I'm the highest in the room. It's lit. Next up, we have angle of attack. This is a lot simpler to explain than altitude and positioning. Don't attack an enemy or go in for a strafe from a bad angle. You almost always have time to be patient when fighting a ground target, and it's always worth it to take the time to readjust and strike from the right angle. That will give you the best odds of success for both killing your enemy and for you actually surviving the strafe. Now, I've got some examples of good and bad strafes here to show you guys. Unfortunately, the footage is in the dark. However, you guys should still be able to get an idea of what's good and what's bad. And next up, we have risk assessment. This is the most psychological principle. It is key to learn, and you need to think and decide very quickly whether to attack and risk crashing or being shot down, or being patient and getting your kill. If somebody is hiding in an alleyway, you probably shouldn't force an inevitably dive bomb and get yourself killed, only to be respawned into a Nightshark, Kanjali, or an Oppressor sponsored respawn loop in the name of getting one kill, or maybe getting one kill. If you get it. If you don't, then you just killed yourself for no good reason, and now you're getting respawned by a Nightshark, Kanjali, or an Oppressor constantly. So great, that's great. That's exactly what we want. Basically, risk assessment just boils down to thinking clearly. Don't be an idiot. Don't go for that kill if you're unsure that you can get it. Only go for a kill that you are sure that you can get. We all make mistakes. We all crash our jets sometimes. As you guys can see in this footage right here, I even make this mistake, and I'm the one that's supposed to be teaching you guys this. The thing is, you must understand that none of us are actually perfect at this game, no matter how hard we try and what we do. I'm supposed to be teaching you guys exactly how to do this sort of stuff, and as you guys can see by this footage, sometimes I mess up too, but that's okay. It's something to learn from, and we can always be better. That's what this video is about. Hopefully you guys found this helpful or interesting at the very least. If you enjoyed this video or if you did learn something, a like is very appreciated. Dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.